Live. We're live. Welcome everybody to the first ever Seattle show. Seattle sports show. I have no reason for doing this other than you guys here all on the stream are Seahawks champions. NFC champs woke up today, felt really good. Would love to talk through the season, talk through a bunch of stuff. Sam Darnold, Nick Emanwari, Witherspoon. We got a lot to talk about. But first, before anything, would love to introduce you guys even to each other. I know I have a lot of Seattle friends from all over, and they don't all know each other. So I'll start with my dad. My dad here, Barry Phillips, in the Seahawks hat down here. Took me to my first Seahawks game, created a Seahawks fan for life, played the Packers that day, and we lost. But that is not the story anymore. We've got KC over here. KC is a dear friend. We talk Seahawks and Mariners every week. I mean, we're on the phone on my walks and stuff. Me and KC are talking. Just met as a common love for the Seahawks and similar circles. And glad you're on the stream today, KC. And Seattle Steve. I call you Seattle Steve to my friends and family, so they know which Steve I'm talking about. But Steve,
I'll take that.
Yeah, Seattle Steve. So randomly, just saw him wearing a Kraken like pullover one day, or like something that had Kraken on it. I stopped my car. I was about to go out of a parking garage.
That's right.
I stopped my car. I said, "There's no way you're wearing a Kraken like pullover right now. Are you from Seattle? Do you like Seattle?" And that started our conversations down the Seahawks rabbit trail. But thank you for joining. Means the world that you guys would pop on randomly. I texted all of you at like 5 p.m. or whatever. It's like, you guys want to do this? I don't know. Talk some Seahawks. Before we dive in, opening thoughts. What are you guys thinking here? Seahawks are NFC champs, headed to the Super Bowl. What kind of thoughts are we having?
I think what's so amazing about this is just how it's, Pete got let go, worried about, what the future is going to hold, total rebuild, all the stuff you hear all the prognosticators come out with, and then 2 years later after Mike's been hired, we're in the Super Bowl again, which is something that I don't think any of us on this call would have imagined it would have been the case in 2 years.
No.
But, when you saw his work ethic and you saw that he was going to do it his way, that was a good sign.
Imagine being able to build.
But what I think this does, though, is it makes every other coaching hire that's happening right now seem like it's just a bunch of leftovers, right? It seems like when they went out and they hired Macdonald, I hired a guy that, you might have heard his name during a game. You might have seen him with a headset on when he made a really good call for Baltimore or Michigan. But you really weren't paying attention to him. But then when they started saying that he's interviewing, you started reading his resume and his age and everything else. I think everybody's trying to find the next Macdonald now.
Yeah.
I think everybody, they're going back and hiring guys that have been on their third or fourth job, and Mike McCarthy. And, I think everybody wants to find the next Mike Macdonald. And, of course, Clint Kubiak would be in that list, but they're not allowed to talk to him until after the Super Bowl.
I love that,
I just think it's just totally, I think this total, and Vrabel too, for that matter. It's sort of, even though, we both live in Nashville, so, we've got, some awareness of the Titans, although I don't really like them. But, he just got totally hosed over here, and it's good for him. But I think this, shows that youth is important. And I think every team that all these I think the people that are waiting for Kubiak to become available, or if there's a guy on the Patriots staff who I don't know if there is one or not, but so that's my thought. I thought it's just totally changed the game. It's totally changed. Used to be a super risk to hire a 33-year-old defensive coordinator. And now it's going to be, I think, going forward. I mean, they've already been like four coaches hired that are in that, sort of age bracket.
Hmm.
And so I think it's a huge game changer. I think Schneider went out on a limb and he hit a home run, man.
Yeah, Schneider. I mean, he is general manager, executive of the year. So
Correct.
it's showing up in a real way where other teams are trying to copy what Seattle has. But I agree. I mean, I've been talking to KC over the phone over the last few weeks. Just we've been talking for a while about um, Pete Carroll's era, and I was more reluctant to let go. I was like, I don't want to see Pete go, but I mean, with just the sunsetting of that, and Russell Wilson era and Geno Smith, the short-lived era, being able to step into Mike Macdonald's new system and see a totally different way to run a football team. I've loved every second of the Mike Macdonald era, and I do think that other teams are trying to chase what Seattle's been able to do. I heard also that 6 teams have implemented Mike Macdonald's style of defensive coaching, his philosophical calls rather than the playbook. He's got 3 levels that he calls, and um, it's wild to see the NFL shifting so quickly. I mean, the dude's only like a year older than I am. Actually, today I had a guy DM me. He was like, "Dude, I didn't know Mike Macdonald was your head coach until last night, and I went to college with him." He was like, "I was in UGA." And that dude was like in a frat, and he was like coaching high school football. Had no idea that he was coaching an NFL team, and I was like, "Can you send me his number or something, bro? That like how close to you? How close to him
Wow,
are you?"
yeah. We
Um,
need some merch
yeah,
for Super Bowl tickets would be good.
yeah, exactly. If you could have some comp tickets sent my way, that would be
Yeah,
pretty fantastic.
that'd be great.
KC, Dad, you guys got any opening thoughts before we jump into?
Yeah, I'd just like to say how we're getting all the monkeys off of our back here. Just take San Francisco and spank them, and then last night to do it to the Rams, and then it's ideal that the Patriots won so that we can face them and do the same to them in the Super Bowl. I think it couldn't be any better to have the playoffs go the way they've gone.
Yeah, I agree. I wanted that. People were asking me when I was playing at church the last probably 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, right before the San Francisco game. They were like, "Who do you want in the playoffs if you get number 1 seed?" And I was like, "I want to play LA and San Francisco. I want them both before the Super Bowl." Even though those are like the toughest games I saw for
Yeah,
the contenders, I was like, just like you said, Dad, the monkeys off our back to really like shake the like storyline of Sam Darnold not being able to show up in big games. I was like, what bigger games are there than week 16 against the Rams to hold on to first place, week 18 against the 49ers to hold on to first place, playing the 49ers again to advance to the NFC Championship, and then beating the Rams. It's like those 4 games, the last 5-6 weeks of the the NFL season for us have just been Sam showing up and taking care of the football. Granted, there's plenty we'll talk about with Sam Darnold later, which I do have a Vikings fan I'm going to invite on to talk about his perspective on Sam Darnold and how much he misses him. But KC, what you got,
yeah.
man? What's your opening statements here?
Yeah, I think that, man, it's amazing to see how fast Mike Macdonald has found success. Like, and there, I'll be like honest with you guys. Like, in the beginning of the season, I was like, me and Jesse talked. Like, we were like, we're gonna get like probably 11, 12 wins at the most. We'll build off of last year's 10 wins, which was like amazing, right? And never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that we would hit a franchise record for wins in a season, 14 wins in Mike Macdonald's second year. It's like, it's amazing. And there was a time where we just kept winning this season and winning, stacking what Mike Macdonald says, stacking opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. And I was at one point, I was like, are we are we experiencing like success too quickly? Did you guys feel like that? Like at any point this season, like are like in his second year, like we just kept winning, and then there was talk of us winning the division, and then breaking the record for most wins. I was like, man, are we seeing just too much success too early? But those fears are gone. Like we're for real, and we're gonna win the Super Bowl. And I'm always thinking ahead. So I'm already thinking like next season, because I don't think the New England Patriots are even gonna like give us a run or be competitive. Like I think we're gonna blow them out. I could be wrong. You never know, but I just have a feeling like they're not gonna be any match for us. And I'm already looking towards next season, and I'm thinking, well, where do you go from here? You win the Super Bowl, what happens next year? You know, a lot of teams have a drop off, right? But Mike Macdonald, he's so they've been there's been this word of he's so locked in. He's so professional. He's so no nonsense, all business, that I feel like there's not that fear of like instant success. I feel like this is just going to carry over and roll over. And who knows? We could very well go undefeated next year. Like
I like where your head's at, both with the Super Bowl and next year, Casey. This is why Casey and I talk every day.
this is Coach Mike. Stack opportunity after. Why not get better next season? Like the sky's the limit. And I feel like Coach Mike, he knows how to get these guys like to buy in. And there's not going to be this drop off or what they call a Super Bowl hangover. So maybe I'm getting too ahead of myself, but I'm already thinking like, man, this is the third Seahawk dynasty we're looking at, right? First one was like
third era with the
third era.
Yeah, Holmgren with that Super Bowl appearance, Pete with the Super Bowl appearances. Now Mike's potential here. I love the thing about Mike that I really love, like you were saying, like, is this just a flash in the pan? Like, you fear the instant success. Are we watching just a fluke and we better enjoy it while it's here? Or is this sustainable? And from what I've seen from Mike and the players and how they talk, it seems sustainable. Not to say that we'll be in the Super Bowl every year, but that success will continue to happen for the Seahawks if we continue to stack the wins like he's talking about. Every opportunity you show up, every day is the same. I love what he was saying at the podium. I don't feel the same after the NFC championship is won and he's up there on the podium and they're like, you were in the shadow of the Rams and the Niners coming into the season. What does it mean to you to go through them to get to the Super Bowl? It's like, we don't care. Like, I love we don't care. I mean, I care as a fan, but like to see their preparation every week and to say, yeah, it's about us. What we do every single week is what matters. His tune hasn't changed. And this kind of like, before we dive into like the season recap, I'm kind of something that I saw about the Legion of Boom era and those players is when we lost in the Super Bowl to New England, Super Bowl 49, it was on a pass. And the whole Legion of Boom was like, are we for real or not? Like our philosophy is run the ball. We're a run the ball football team, and you stop buying into the philosophy of what they're preaching. They're saying smash mouth football, run the ball, beast mode, 1 yard line. Why would you pass the ball? Like your whole philosophy, your identity as a football team, in one play, you just forget. And I think people like seeing Richard Sherman. Who else was on that Get Got podcast? Sometimes I listen to that Marshawn Lynch Get Got podcast. Cliff Averill was talking about that.
Angry Doug.
Yeah, Angry Doug might have actually been the one to say
Golden
forgot about the philosophy there for a second. People stopped buying in, but I'm super excited for this era. I mean, before we jump into that season recap, what do you guys think? Is this sustainable? Are we watching just a fluke? What do you guys think?
I think it's the start of a dynasty.
Like
I just
that?
I just see the young players we've got right now. Just our draft choices for the last couple of years. We've got a great start to building a tremendous team. And I know the players, if they think there's another ring in it next year, they're going to stick around. They love the team. They love the coaching. They want it.
Yeah, I think as long as it, they have so many players that are under rookie contracts.
Yeah.
Darnold's not, but Darnold's is a very favorable to the team contract. It's not like it's not like Holmes's contract or like Josh Allen's contract or any of those, any of those superstar contracts. So, and then, we have Jalen Milroe waiting in the wings, and who knows
True.
what, all the training and stuff he's doing this year, how that's, might morph into something in a couple of years. But, I think we're in really good shape. There's going to be some turnover and there's some free agents, but I feel comfortable that John will figure out what to do to put more people in their place, and hopefully Zach can get over his injury and be 100% next year. Having him not be a part of this is kind of sad, or is sad. But yeah, I think I don't know why this wouldn't be able to last. But there is probably going to be some kind of little hangover next year. I would, if we win, there might be a little hangover, and of course, we have a pretty good schedule next year as far as like who we're playing. So, I mean, who the heck knows? One of the things about sports now is I'm really learning to love it in the year because so many things happen in between in off seasons in every sport now. Every sport. So you fall in love with the team that you have on the field this year, and whatever happens next year happens, and you'll fall in love with them too. But you don't want to get too married. I remember when Richard Sherman left, and it was like or Bobby or whoever, all the people that have, gradually left, and it was like I was so sad, and but now you just got to take it for the year that it is, because I mean if you're in love with college football and you're in love with the players that play college football for a team, whatever team you support, you're only going to have 1 year with them. Probably.
Yeah, that's
the way
heartache
things are
every
going.
year.
So yeah, you have to cheer for the uniform, not necessarily the player in the uniform. But I think we're set up with all these with these young contracts. I think we're in really, really good shape for a while. And we get to the point now where we're going to have to start paying guys $70 million a year, $60 million a year, $50 million a year. Then that's when things really become challenging. And I think that's sort of what maybe happened to us during the end of the Pete era, was that they had a lot of money on the payroll and few players. I think this year they've managed to, I mean, DeMarcus got a nice little payday, but nothing crazy, nothing huge. So, I think John knows what he's doing. I think this proves now that John, has the brains to be able to pull all this together and make it special without having Pete's coattails, dragging around with him. And I'm excited. I mean, I'm excited about the future for sure. I mean, isn't it great though? Isn't it the greatest feeling? Like, just to have a team that you support and know that we're in a good place. Do you think how many people don't feel that way right now?
Yeah.
Just think how many football fans don't have that. When I woke up this morning, you texted me this morning. I mean, I can't believe I woke up and we're NFC champs, and it's like, it's the greatest thing. And hopefully we'll be Super Bowl champs 2 weeks from this morning. You'll be waking up saying we're Super Bowl champs.
I love it. We'll have to get on another Super Bowl stream at that point and
oh heck yeah,
talk about just absolutely demolishing the Patriots. We'll have to get there. I don't want to jinx us, but
right.
Man,
I did say, sorry, in my Facebook post about the game yesterday, I said, okay, how many times are they going to show the Malcolm Butler play on ESPN between now and Super Bowl? And it led off the 6:00 Sports Center tonight already.
Of course.
So we're going to see that play 100 freaking times between now and the game.
Gosh, yeah.
Probably 10 on game day.
For sure. Which, I mean, honestly, I think the fact that is such a narrative over the Seahawks and the fact that we get to like rewrite it in this game. We have the opportunity. With Denver, I was like, if Denver wins, I like Denver better than the Patriots just naturally, but there is a part of me that just wants to rewrite the thing. Just like I wanted Sam to have to play the Niners and the Rams, the two other toughest teams. Like I want him to feel absolute confidence in his game and what he's got. So to be able to do that again, and then the highlights tack on to that interception. But Sam Darnold in this new era, the Seahawks have erased it. I saw a cool meme the other day of or last night of Sam Darnold as a Ghostbuster getting his ghosts put into that little trapper thing. So it was a fun little meme. But all right, let's jump into the season recap here. We're gonna just fly over each game, anything that sticks out about that game, and kind of just recap the season here. And I might cut up some of this footage for like later videos and just like post like a little snippet of something and some different Seahawks content. But week 1, we started 0-1, lost to the 49ers at home, season opener, 17-13. What do you guys remember from that game?
I remember, even though we lost, feeling good. Remember that, Jesse? Like,
yeah,
you always want to, start the season with a win, but because we were so close and we felt like we should have won that game, it was like, hey, we're okay. We're gonna face them again, and we're gonna get them next time, because it came down to one play where Abe Lucas got pushed back into Sammy, and we were there. We were gonna score, and so I felt good about it. We went toe to toe with them. You didn't know what was gonna happen because obviously new coach or new quarterback, new offense, new receivers, and just the way they played, the way Sammy he was cold. He had ice in his veins, man. Game 1, he had ice in his veins, and there was still that narrative about him, but he was cool, calm, and he was about to beat him, but it wasn't on him. So I think I felt good about the loss, going 0-1 moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt a little opposite. I felt like, oh God, here we go again.
Yeah.
Again, we can't get over the Niners. George Kittle, drives me crazy. And Christian McCaffrey, I mean, those guys are so hard to stop. And I was going, I didn't think it was going to be a bell ringer for the season, I didn't have like this is going to be a terrible season like that, but I just said, God, can we just beat these guys? In the last 5 years, how many times have we lost to them in the Rams? We have the hardest. We weren't going to be the hardest division this year, but guess what? But the next week made me. The next week made me.
I don't know if I'm freezing up here. I might be freezing up.
Very happy.
Let me see. Is that showing up for you guys that my signal is weak?
It made up for.
What is going on?
I think Jesse froze.
Yeah, I felt good after the game, even though we lost. It was so close to being able to pull it off. We weren't expected to win. It was in San Francisco, so yeah, it was one of those losses that I could take, and I felt good moving forward from there.
Am I back?
Rebooting.
You're back.
Okay, sorry about that.
You're good.
I heard some of that. I think my internet just freaked out for a second. Maybe problems with my network. I'll check on it during this next little section here. I mean, I know we got to little bit of that Steelers game there. We were talking, after that loss, Sammy the questions still remained for a lot of the media, because it's like, what does that mean that Sam Darnold lost that game, a division rival, week 1, 0-1? Is it the same old story, or what do we've got? What do we have here in Sam? And moving to week 2, coming back and winning big, 31 points on the Steelers. Felt like, okay, we've got a team here. We've got a squad that can actually move the ball. It was a balanced attack. Like, there's a lot of run. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Walker had over 100 yards, and Sam almost had 300 yards. It felt like a good attack. But then week 3, we had the Saints demolish the Saints 44-13. But I think the questions still remain there. Like, are the Saints anything? Like, the Steelers were expected to be pretty good, but are the Saints any good? I don't know. Do you guys remember the Saints game at all?
We were really behind in the beginning, right? I mean, maybe behind, but very close in the first half. In the second half, we ended up just like exploding for tons of points in the second half.
Yep.
That was that period of like 5 games where every game was like super close.
Yep.
Right. And where we would, it was close at halftime with the Saints game, then the Cardinals game was close, and then the Buccaneers game, obviously we lost, but was one of the more exciting games you'll ever see in your life, close until the end. And even the Texans game was kind of close. So we had a little stretch there where we were just squeaking out these wins, and and like Macdonald said, winning is the key, and it doesn't really remember how it happens. You try to get better and build off it every week, and they certainly did that.
Absolutely, yeah. I loved watching the one possession games where it really matters. Like, how do we come out on top of those? With the Cardinals game after that Saints game was so close, and it was way closer than it should have been, but we still came out on top. That Buccaneers game was such a heartbreaker. We had that game in the bag, and then just that fluke interception off a helmet causes something crazy to happen, and we lose in the last seconds because of that. And just these like close like thing. I think for me, and maybe you guys can speak to where this felt like for you in the season. I felt like the Seahawks were legit after the Jaguars win in week 6. Like, up to that point, even after the loss to the Buccaneers, we had lost 2 games already. 3-2 was the record, but I felt like we actually had an offense to go with an incredible defense. And I felt like the Jaguars win. JSN was just like transcending at that point, done something in Seahawks history that hadn't been done before, with a streak of, passing yards that he had gotten, and going all the way across the country to the Jags, who were really hot. It was, for me, that game felt like, okay, we have something here. Maybe not, we're going to the Super Bowl, but like, I actually felt like this wasn't a fluke of a team. Like, we had what it takes to keep up with the rest of the league, and maybe not be number 1 seed or anything, but make the playoffs. I felt really good about us on week 6. But did you guys have a game like that for you, where you were like, this is a turning point for the Seahawks?
I actually felt like this is it for us. Like, we're legit gonna turn this around the second game, like at Pittsburgh, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, for me, that was like, I think we got something here, because to go to the East Coast 10 o'clock game, it's hard to win when you're coming from the West Coast to the East Coast. And, Pittsburgh still was a playoff team, right? When it came down to it. And they were actually favored to win that game, if I'm not mistaken. Wasn't Pittsburgh favored to win that game, or were we favored? But I think that people just didn't know if we could pull that game off. And to me, it was pretty decisive. Like we dominated them as far as defensively. We held them in check, and special teams, right? So for me, and loved getting, that DK revenge. Like I needed that. That was lovely.
The revenge
But
game.
yeah, that to me was big to come off a disappointing loss in your first game and rebound. I was like, man, Coach Mike, he's got these guys ready when we got that W against the Steelers.
Yeah.
So does anybody else not miss DK? I was so ready to see us get rid of him. Just it's the after the play, pushing and shoving and the penalties, and he was out of control. Great talent, but he just didn't fit the Seahawks. And I'm glad he's gone. We've got great replacements.
Yeah, I was. Oh, go ahead, Steve.
I was just going to say, don't miss him at all. And when that trade came through, I was at lunch when it was announced on TV, and with a bunch of friends of mine who, one guy was a Titans fan, now he's a Patriots fan. Another guy, the other two guys were Titans fans, and I said, "Why are you excited that he's gone? I mean, he's a great receiver." And I said, "Look this up right here. He had 7, whatever those are called, conduct penalties." Away from the ball in his 3 years, which all of them ended up being drive stoppers.
Yep.
So it was like, I was so glad to see him go. I mean, he's a really big talent, but he's got a little Antonio Brown in him or something,
Mm-hmm.
So I just think it's too wound up. And then what happened in Detroit, that just only when he was with the Steelers just made that even more visible, so. Yeah, I was not sad to see him go at all, and I follow Ohio State a lot, and I got to see JSN play a lot of games, and I knew the minute they got him, it was like, this is going to be awesome.
The future.
I don't think I knew it was going to be this awesome, because and it's only this awesome because of who his coordinator is and who is throwing him the ball. So.
Yeah.
So are we going to re-sign Rick Woolen? The same reason.
I think similar to DK, I don't feel excited about Reek because of those just immaturity. You see him stop the hustle in some games. He just stops and he doesn't look like he wants to be there. There's just a lot of those moments where you're like, man, this guy is a freak athlete. DK is a freak athlete. You look at his qualities on paper and just the plays when it's like, yeah, I mean, one-handed catch in the end zone above somebody, or for Reek, the interception, the closing speed. It's like, yeah, it's hard to get rid of someone like that. But after last night, just all of the questions of like, well, you can excuse it because what an athlete. That almost cost us a Super Bowl trip. That can't happen. Yeah.
Yep.
It would have been a larger margin of victory for the Seahawks had it not been for Reek. And then the very next play, just getting burned over the top. I think I don't want to see Reek back in a Seahawks uniform, but I'm glad Mike Macdonald at the podium, me and Steve were texting earlier, just for morale's sake, Mike Macdonald saying, it's 12-1, we got to pick our brothers up. That was a boneheaded mistake, but let's pick him up. Let's go win this next game. For morale, awesome. But behind the scenes, I hope he's talked to John Schneider about not ever seeing that guy in the Seahawks jersey after Santa Clara.
Yeah. Let's hope it doesn't happen again,
Yeah.
Yeah. I you look at like 3 years ago or Pete Carroll's last season, remember the last game of the season, he was like, I think
in Arizona.
Didn't we? Yeah, in Arizona, we won the game, right? Didn't we win that game? But we did playoffs. But we missed the playoffs.
It missed the playoffs. The game that happened after ours,
Yeah, he's there.
Yeah, they clinched it after us.
Yeah, and
The 49ers or somebody.
he's like grabbing his crotch to the other side, and that was what 3-4 years ago. He's still doing the same stuff.
Yep.
And DK's doing the same stuff, punching people in the stands and like, yeah, it's unfortunate.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Like, you got freak of an athlete, but you're hurting our team, and we don't really need Reek. I believe that this coaching staff, Coach Mike, can plug somebody in, and they can be successful with a better attitude. That still has great athletic skills. So I'm not worried about losing Reek if we don't sign him. I'm good with it.
Yeah.
You saw Spoon make 2 huge plays
Yeah.
last night, and the only thing he was worried about was why didn't I get pass interference on that one at the
Yeah.
on the one at the end.
He got me worried for a second.
Where's my pass interference?
As soon as I saw him go like that, I was like, wait, what did they throw a flag on him or something? But he was actually wanting the flag. I was like,
he wanted the flag. Right?
I love it. Just competing all the way through.
Yep.
So let's look at this. Week 6, we won against the Jags 20-12. Week 7, won against the Texans 27-19. I feel like the Texans at that point too were like a really hot team, and we're headed into the bye, looking at a Commanders game after that. The Texans seemed like they were a strong team, and I don't remember that game very much, but it was a Monday night, right? It was a primetime game.
I think it was a Sunday night. Wait, it wasn't Sunday. It might have been Monday night.
That was
a Thursday night. It might have been Thursday night.
I thought it was a Thursday night.
Yeah, October 20th. Yeah.
It was a weird game because like we let them hang in there. I felt like we were flat, right? We were coming off a short week. It was a Thursday night game, and it was a short week for us. And then remember the Mariners game? A pivotal Mariners game in the playoffs was the same going on at the same time. Remember
after the bye week, the Commanders, when we were demolishing the Commanders on primetime, that's when that Mariners loss happened, like simultaneous. It was like a side by side. That was I took photos of the time because I had Seahawks pulled up on one side, Mariners on the other, and when the Mariners lost, I was so defeated. But the Seahawks were crushing the Commanders, and I was just like, I wish I was happier right now seeing the Mariners not make it. But I mean, it did soften the blow quite a bit. Where I'm like, the Mariners season is over. This is such a bummer. But I mean, we just demolished the Commanders in prime time. Sorry, Dan Quinn, but that game, Darnold had 330 passing yards. Jackson Smith and Jibba kept rolling, 129 yards. I mean, that's at that point in the season, I remember thinking, JSN, like, is this for real that you keep getting 100 yards a game? Like, how is this possible? People know at this point they've started game planning around JSN, and he's still getting over 100 yards a game. Just absolutely, I loved watching JSN all season, but that Commanders game, I remember just kind of like being sad about the Mariners and checking out the box score of the Commanders Seahawks game and being like, JSN might be my favorite Seahawks receiver now of all time.
Well, after that one-handed catch last night, he's everybody's favorite receiver now.
Yeah, unreal. Just unreal.
No kidding.
Then week 10, we put a spanking on the Cardinals, 44-22. We lost to the Rams week 11. What did you guys think about that one? 21-19, the loss to the Rams.
Well, I hate it because I got a friend of more than 50 years who's a Rams fan, and he lets me know every time they're playing if they win. I don't hear from him if they lose, but yeah, he was quick to contact me right after that game.
Yeah,
he's been quiet lately.
Yeah.
I know how frustrating it must have been for Sam to have such a terrible game like that.
Yeah.
And still, we could have hit that field goal at the end. We would have won the game. But was really long field goal. But I, I I actually didn't feel as bad about that game as I did about the Niners game at the beginning of the season. One, we rolled up some wins already before that, so it wasn't like the start of the season. I said we played as bad as we could in the first half, and we only lost by 2.
Yeah.
So, and against the Rams, which is, but then you just keep looking at the schedule and you go, okay, we got them coming up again, and we got to do it the next time. And if we're gonna make the playoffs at all, because remember, we were close to not making the playoffs.
Yep.
We would have lost one of those games not down near the end of the season. There was a chance we were going to either be a 6 seed or we have a chance to maybe not even make it. So until we started stacking those wins at the end of the year. So
I felt the same way.
Yeah.
That loss didn't feel bad to me. I felt like that was kind of a turning point as well to me, where losing that tight matchup after such a horrible game, to say we were still in this, our defense can keep us in any game that we're in. This, I mean, as bad as you can get, 4 interceptions that's just inexcusable.
Yeah.
So I felt like that was a little bit of a turning point for me and what we could potentially do. And something I love is that was our last loss. None of the rest of these games I'm going to mention are losses. They're all wins now. Titans went to the Titans game. KC flew in from California. Steve was there.
See, I should have met you, Casey, at the game.
Oh man, you were there. We could have. Yeah, that would have been awesome.
I think we were on different sides of the stadium.
Yeah,
too, so.
You were on the exact opposite side of the stadium.
Yeah,
we were in the 200 levels, and I think you were the 100 level on the other side. But it was what a fun game that at the very end felt like, what is happening right now? Are we gonna let the Titans back in this thing, or like, can we finish this off? And I was very nervous. Even when we had a wider margin, I think it was 30-17 or something. And I was telling KC, like, I don't feel great about this. One, because it's not 31-17. Like, there's a little bit of a weirdness there where they don't need a full 2 touchdowns. Like, it's that they could get in this and win with 2 touchdowns. So
that's the game that scared me. The Titans have been a doormat for the league up to that point, and for them to even be competitive at halftime, I was saying this is a little unnerving. The whole game I was uncomfortable. I just I wanted to turn it off. It was just.
I think the end of it also was a teachable moment for Macdonald, for coach. I think it showed him that we had a decent lead there for a while, and then we started letting it. Cam Ward started having his way with the defense and just was throwing all over the field, and they were missing anything. And I think that that might have been a really good teachable moment for them to say, you can't let your foot off the gas at all.
Mm-hmm.
And because if you think about it, that never really happened to them the rest of the year. They never got, they came back from being down, like the first Rams game, the last regular season Rams game. But I think that was a good teachable moment for them. I think I think he used that as a way to get them to play harder all 60 minutes.
Yeah. It was fun too. Casey and I went to what was that place on Broadway? They had like breakfast, and it was like a Seahawks meetup. It's the bar downtown that basically every away team that comes in town, they host like a get together buffet concert thing. And we showed up there. It was like 9 a.m. or something, and they opened the doors, and it was okay. It was an okay breakfast. The band was really loud and just okay as well. And so we were like, it's fun to hang out.
You should have got up there.
Yeah.
You should have got up there, Jesse.
Yeah. I almost did at one point. I was like, okay, guys, let's be for real right now. No, but it was cool to talk to some Hawks fans. I don't think they were anticipating as many Seahawks fans as were going to be there, because it felt like Seattle.
Yeah.
I think there were more of us than there were of them.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was
In my section, it was all on my side of the stadium, it was all Seahawks fans.
Yeah.
And the Titans fans weren't saying much until the very end either.
Yeah.
So they were very quiet. They were very quiet. But yeah, we had Hawks fans everywhere. Everywhere.
it was like being, like Jesse said, it was like being in Seattle, like downtown Broadway. It was like Seahawks over. Like, where's the Tennessee fans? Like, why are we taking over Broadway? And then on our way to the stadium, walking on the bridge, like nothing but Seahawks.
Yeah. I walked back over the bridge on the way home, and I had to go to an event at Bridgestone that night arena, and it was all Hawks. I mean, it was like people were cheering and doing Seahawks, all over the bridge and everything. It was so cool. It was.
Yeah.
It was almost, like being in a Hawks game without, having to fly to Seattle.
Yeah, it felt great to win that game and exit with a W after a little bit of sweat there at the end. But the next week, I've several Vikings fans that are always texting. Especially this year with Sammy being our quarterback, they're all like peeking over there, like, well, how's he treating you guys? What's going on over there? And when we played the Vikings, man, it was embarrassing. I felt bad for all my Vikings fan friends because it was like just absolute domination, 26-0 shutout. Felt amazing. Then the next week, even with the Falcons, that was another one of those games. We won 37-9, but first half we were like it was tied. I think
We were
at
winning
half,
like
right?
10-9, 9-9, or 10-9 or something at halftime.
Exactly. Yeah, it was so tight. And then the second half was just like, where was that team? Where was that team last half? But something I heard, I don't know if you guys have heard this, but I need to go find the source again. One guy I was listening to was saying the reason the Seahawks in the second half, there are some adjustments that they make, but ultimately their conditioning that Mike Macdonald has had them do since OTAs is just they're so much better conditioned as a team that the second half they're not winded when other teams are struggling to. They might take a play off. There might be a defensive lineman that's not going to rush as hard or whatever, but the Seahawks every play, it's every down you keep fighting. And so we see a lot of that pop out where week one you see Abraham Lucas maybe he took a play off against Nick Bosa. Maybe Nick Bosa is just a beast. I'm not saying Abraham Lucas took a play off and got demolished and Sam coughed up the ball. But you've seen since that point, the Seahawks play every down. And same thing with that Falcons game is that second half, we just came alive. And then the next week, the Colts win, where Jason Myers had that six field goals to win. How'd you guys feel after that one? I was a little bit stunned that Philip Rivers almost took that game.
I was disheartened a little bit after that. We had a lot of opportunities. We just couldn't get it into the end zone. I mean, because we got in the red zone a couple times, couldn't get in. Had some turnovers, like at the 40, couldn't get in. And Philip Rivers, there's a reason he's probably going to go into the Hall of Fame. He's a good quarterback, and it's amazing with that little pot belly he had when he came out. It was a little scary at first why we couldn't punch it into the end zone. I mean, we should have won 40-16.
Yeah.
If we could have scored touchdowns instead of field goals, but the win's a win. It was not. If I remember right, it was not a great day. There was some precipitation in the air, stuff like that. But and I think they didn't have time really to prep for Philip Rivers either.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can go back and look at his game film, but all those tendencies were long gone.
Yeah.
So what kind of game plan was Steichen gonna put in for him? And it was just those dink and dunks the whole time. It was just as RPO, RPOs because he can't run, but as far as option passes out of the backfield, I mean, he just did that. They showed him, and I can't remember they showed him checking down, like 3 or 4 times every play, just on those short, and because the route, no one was running huge routes. There was one long pass when they gave me, remember, but
Yeah.
um, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we're lucky we won that one,
Yeah.
and that sort of gave him new life. Got him to start 2 more games, and then and put his name that. But the most important thing for him was he got his health insurance for another 5 years.
Right.
And
Yeah. When
with
you mentioned that,
yeah, with 10 kids, it's good to have the health insurance
yeah,
because he was
renewed
going to
for
have to
another
go to the
5 years.
marketplace. He was going to have to go to the marketplace afterwards.
Yeah. I love that. Renewed for another 5 years. He's got
Yeah.
that the NFL helping him out with the
Yep.
insurance. I love that.
Yep.
Um, which I mean, I liked Phillip Rivers when he was playing and was in his prime, and I've played with his character in NFL Blitz 1975 or whatever years he was playing. But yeah, it's crazy to see him come back off the street and just sling the ball short. He commanded an offense, which he doesn't have the arm like he used to. That, like you mentioned, that one pass play where the guy went
Yeah.
long, and it's like, does he have it? No, no, that was
Yeah.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
He does not
Yeah.
have the arm. But to see him
Yeah.
come out and command an offense, I felt like even for our guys to not not rest in a game, to say coming into that game, the Seahawks had a lot of excitement. It's like, I mean, Phillip Rivers, this is going to be a bloodbath. The Seahawks are going to run all over them. And that was a good teachable moment to say, let's not let off the gas,
Yeah.
because no one in this league, any given Sunday, I mean, the Titans almost came back. The Colts, like, up until 30 seconds from the end, like, we had to kick that game-winning field goal. It was like a 54-yarder too, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was tight.
Like the defense, I think let off the gas a little bit in the Titans game.
Mm-hmm.
I think the offense might have let off the gas a little bit in the Colts game. I just don't, Colts defense isn't that great, and to not be able to punch it in the red zone all game, it's amazing. So, but we won. Hey,
Yeah, a
Yeah.
dub's
you got to
a
have a
dub,
few of those games on the schedule, right?
for
Yeah, I
sure.
was nervous. I was nervous about that game. I was like, how are they hanging in there with us, man? Phillip Rivers, like, wow, man, like he's gonna make headlines if he gets this dub on us. I'm like, no, we can't. We can't be that team that he wins, his first game coming back. And but that was a nail biter. I was nervous. I'm like, we about to lose this? What? But you're right, Steve. It was wet. I think raining, cold, and I remember like our footing wasn't there. I just felt like it was a sloppy game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
And that's a trap game. That's a trap game too, big time.
for
Just
sure.
you got the Rams the next week. You're thinking ahead to that game and how important that game's going to be for you, and then you're going to have to go across the country again in the game after that. And we had the Rams on the short week.
Mm-hmm.
We had the Rams on the short week after that, and so yeah, I think they probably weren't maybe focused. As much as you think Mike Macdonald has everybody focused, perfectly in tune every game. There's probably the team probably does stray their mind stray a little bit to what's coming up the week after.
Yeah, which
And
I mean, huge game versus the Rams, Thursday night football. It's hard not to look forward past the Colts to a division rival. You want the rubber match to go your way. I mean, in our rivalry jerseys and everything, it was one of those games. Which I mean, yeah, the 12 rivalry green. I love
yep,
it.
the
Very
Steve,
nice.
Steve, are you from Seattle?
no, my relationship with the Seahawks is a long and complicated one.
Oh,
But when the Browns left Cleveland, I was a Browns fan. I was a season ticket holder for the Browns. When the Browns left, I'd already moved away from Cleveland at that point to live in Chicago. My first year in Chicago was the year the Browns left to go to Baltimore. and I was going to be a free agent. I said, screw the Browns. You know what? I didn't get sucked up in the Bears hype because they had just won the Super Bowl. So, it would have been easy to get sucked into that. Thank God I didn't do that. Because I've had a miserable 40 something years since then. But I was a free agent, and I loved Steve Largent back in the day, and loved the uniforms, and was a fan of Brian Bosworth. Don't laugh. And I just said, okay, I think I'm going to make the Seahawks my team. And while I didn't follow them as much because you couldn't back then. You couldn't get hype. I mean, the only highlights you got was from Chris Berman, on Sunday night. You didn't really, if they weren't on TV and they weren't on, the AFC game of the week back then, you didn't get to see them. And getting highlights was hard. And you might maybe getting George Michael's Time Machine or whatever his name was, if you remember on NBC. Jesse, you're way too young for this. And so it was hard to be a long distance fan back then. It really was. But then I got to know a coach for the Titans. Excuse me, for the Seahawks really well. Here, I don't know if you know a guy named Kippy Brown. But Kippy was the wide receivers coach during the glory days. He was with a lot of other teams too. He was with some college teams and some pro teams, Jets, a bunch of others. And I got to know him. He played in the celebrity golf tournament I used to run. And, he let me hold the Super Bowl trophy. He let me hold the Super Bowl trophy. He let me wear his ring for 3 days.
Nice.
It was like, man, I'm jacked now. And then he got me into the practice facility a couple times. He introduced me to Dave Canales. Dave Canales and I got to text back and forth a bunch. And so that was pretty cool. So I was hook, line, and sinker at that point. And then when the U.S. Open, the United States Open Golf Championship was at Chambers Bay in Tacoma, I worked with a guy who was the head of PR. He was on my team at the event. And so, but now I go back to Seattle at least once a year and try to go to a game. It doesn't always sync up. But I've spent a lot of time on Bainbridge Island and in West Seattle. Not as much time in West Seattle since the bridge closed, but now that it's back open, we'll probably spend more time up there. But,
nice.
Yeah. So I mean, I love it. It's my favorite game experience anywhere. I was there for that Eagles game. Remember when we had to win, and that's when Carson Wentz was at his peak powers, and it was a Thursday night or a Monday night game. I don't know if they were doing Thursday night games back then. I think it was though. And I lost my voice for 2 days after the game. I couldn't talk because I screamed so much. It was amazing. So yeah, I'm a huge fan and have loved them since mid '80s.
Love that. Yeah.
Awesome.
Maybe this would be a good time right before diving into Week 16 because this is where it gets really, really good for the Seahawks crunch time to talk about origins of our Seahawks fandom. Because the funny thing is, none of us live in Seattle, so and we're all Seahawks fans. So Seahawks fans from afar. Yeah, KC, what was your experience like?
Where do you live, KC? Where do you live?
I'm in LA.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm from here.
Enemy territory.
Yeah, Rams territory. Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. I went to the market yesterday before the game to get some items before the game, and I saw a couple of Rams fans, and I was trying not to make eye contact. I'm like, no, man, don't do it. Like, don't get in the flesh. But they were trying to they were looking at me. I could see them from the corner of my eye, and I was like, wow. They stopped and they were staring at me. I'm like, I'm just gonna keep going. But anyway, yeah, I'm from LA and single mom growing up. My parents were divorced. When I was about 8 or 9, my mom started dating a guy from Bellevue. And I knew nothing about Seattle. I probably had never even heard of the city. You're 8 years old, never had never been to a game, didn't have any connection with sports at all. And this guy from Bellevue, he, obviously he was a Seahawks fan, Mariners, Sonics, everything. And he introduced me to Seattle sports that way. They dated for about 7 years. So he was like a father figure to me and my sister. And he would take us on vacations. I remember the first time he took us to Seattle. We would actually drive. We wouldn't fly. He loved to drive, and we would take that drive. Sometimes it'd take us a day or two. I was just like, wow, it's so green up here. You're 8 years old, 9 years old. You're like, man, this is not LA, man. Like clean air. And I was just like, wow, I love this place. And he took me to my first Seahawk game at the Kingdome in 1980. I think it was 88 or 89. And that was when, Steve Largent, Dave Craig, Eugene Robinson, all those players. And I was just like, what is this? Wow, this is called football, and this is the Seahawks. And what is this place? Oh, it's the Kingdome. The Kingdome. This place is huge. And never been to a game, sporting event, nothing. And I fell in love. I was just like, I love this team. I love this city. He took us to Mariners games up there, Husky games. So I was in love, man. 8 and 9 years old, my first introduction to sports and professional sports. And so that's where my love came from. And I remember that my first ever Seahawks game, it was a preseason game against the Colts. And back then, somehow my mom's boyfriend, his name was Bill, he knew where the players would come out of the Kingdome and go to their cars, and fans could wait outside the Kingdome in this place. I don't know how he knew. And you could get autographs from players. And I have a poster, and I got to shake Steve Largent's hand, and Eugene Robinson, Dave Craig, and they signed my poster. And I'm like, this is the greatest thing, man. Like, I'm like, wow, Steve Largent. And just humble guys. And
Nice.
it had that impression on me, like, I'm a Seahawk. Like, this is me now. And you identify with it, man. I don't know how to explain it, man. And this is who I am now. And so, yeah, that's how it started for me. And then, being in LA through high school and college, people would always ask, why are you a Seahawks fan? Like, everybody's Raiders, Rams, right? And I'd have to tell them the story. And yeah. So that's how it started for me, man. And I'm looking forward to playing the Patriots, because I think we need to get that revenge game, man. We need to get that monkey off our back, and we'll feel so much better about that loss, in Arizona. I was there at the Arizona Super Bowl. I didn't go to the game because that's just way too much money. But I drove to Phoenix from LA to be there, just to be there, to experience it, and to be with the 12s. And watch the game outside of the Glendale Stadium there at a bar, and where all these 12s were having a party, and it was awesome until the end. And yeah,
Can't imagine.
yeah. So we need this, man. We need to beat these Patriots. Yeah.
I agree. Dad, how did you become a Seahawks fan?
Well, yeah, my dad was in the Air Force, and when I was in high school, we got sent to South Carolina. At the time, there was no team to root for in South Carolina. The Panthers weren't even around at the time. The closest NFL team was Atlanta, maybe, perhaps Jacksonville, but they weren't good. We had no attachment to any of them. And then I joined the Air Force when I was 17. They sent me to Sacramento. And so being there near the Bay Area, I got attached to the Oakland Raiders. And every time the Raiders would play the Seahawks, didn't matter how bad the Seahawks were, the Seahawks would beat the Raiders. They had this wide open type play. They had gadget plays and fake punts, and it was just amazing to watch the Seahawks. I really learned to admire them during that era when I was a Oakland Raiders fan. And when the Raiders moved to LA, nothing against LA, yeah, I switched my allegiance to Seattle, and so it was all AFC West at the time, and then they of course realigned. But yeah, from about that point on, I was a big Seahawks fan, and ended up moving to Seahawks after I got out of the Air Force. Took a job with a software company up in Seattle, and that's when we had a chance to actually go see them in person, and it was exciting to have that, already the love for the Seahawks when we got there.
Yeah, I said it earlier when you took me to that game. I was 8 years old. First Seahawks game ever in the Kingdom, playing the Packers. Even though we lost, there was like such an excitement in the Kingdom for football and the Seahawks, and seeing Joey Galloway. I remember watching him, just speedster, watching him in the the like post game interview stuff on TV. Getting that program and just like reading through the roster and like all the extra features, and they were featuring Joey Galloway, and that was even my first jersey I remember buying at a pro shop was a Joey Galloway jersey. I also had a Brett Favre jersey, but that was another story. But Joey Galloway was I repped him, and yeah, it was 8 years old was such a good year for me because I got like on the screen, like you guys bought a happy birthday Jesse in the Kingdom. So you're like, look at the screen or whatever. And I was like,
Nice.
happy birthday to me. Like, how did they know? And I also got a puppy that year for my birthday. It was just like September. My birthday's in September. So it was like all those things hitting at one time. And yeah, the Seahawks just were part of that just a great September. I felt like the Seahawks memories that I have from the 90s are yeah, just what drew me to the game itself in football, because it was always on at the house. I remember even from like some of my first memories, like just making food and watching football at the house. It was always on, but actually falling in love with the game, it was at that Kingdom first experience ever, kind of like UKC, just getting in there and enjoying. But yeah, let's dive back into this season, fast forward a few decades for all of us, and talk about the Rams. I mean, that game where we won in overtime, game of the year up to that point for sure. That was one of those. Are we for real? Are we going to be for real, or are we going to go back to our old ways and let the Rams destroy us? And it looked like it, 30-14. It did not. Was it 30-31? I forget the score. We had 14 and they had 30 something, and it was not looking good. But how'd you guys feel with that game?
Well, I'll start. I turned it off. All right, I'm going to tell you what happened. My wife's a Buffalo Bills fan, and when the Bills start sucking in a game, she'll turn off the TV, and she doesn't want to watch it anymore. She'll go to bed, or she'll do what if it's a night game, she'll go to bed. And it was so bad there in the beginning. I was like, okay, I'm gonna turn it off. And so I went to bed, and all of a sudden I'm starting to get all these dings on my phone. Like all of a sudden, like scoring starting to happen, and we've closed it to 2 scores and whatever. So I didn't want to jinx them, so I followed along on that stupid GameCast thing on ESPN. So I didn't want to like turn the TV on and jinx whatever they were doing, like it really matters, right? But it worked, and then I recorded it and then went back and watched the end of the whole game, and I watched it again the other day. It was on NFL Network. I sat up and watched the fourth quarter, and but I couldn't believe it. I thought that was you couldn't script that game. I mean, that's like a movie script,
Yeah,
right? I mean, you'd have to write that to have it to happen like that. It was so amazing, and just between the play with Charbonnet and between the the other 2-point conversion and JSN's catch and all the other stuff. My God, it was theater, better than any theater you could go to.
Point conversion was wild.
yeah,
Yes, it was so awesome. And then So yeah, I sat up and I screamed in bed and woke my wife up when that's the GameCast thing sometimes a little bit delayed, so you don't always get the information on the top with like the time and stuff isn't always match up with the play-by-play stuff at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So when the little thing up top goes 000, and I'm going, oh shit, what's the final? What's the final? What's the final? And finally it showed up, N4Q, I think it said, and it was, we were up by one. I was like, oh my
Yeah, that was I felt the same. That's a game to text your friend, Dad, your LA fan.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, it's destiny.
that's a good game to remind him of in the future.
God. And I think to get to the Super Bowl, you have to have things like that happen.
Yeah.
I think you have to have a little bit of luck, a little bit of, for what's the word I'm looking for? Um, a little bit of just like what they call in hockey puck luck, which is, it hits the post, it does this, it does that,
Mm-hmm.
in football, there's equivalence to that in football. And I think you got to have that happen a couple of times. You can't go through the season without having something like that happen. And maybe that was the game where it just solidified our place. And then, going through Lumen Field to go to the playoffs was just such a huge deal. So anyway, and of course we still had to beat the 49ers, but the to keep the Rams out of it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was the start of the playoffs to me. That's for the one seed in that game and knocking your division opponent into the wild card. Like that's a huge game. And then the Panthers game is kind of a footnote. It's like we needed to win that game, but it was going to come down to week 18 regardless against the Niners. They were winning. They kept clawing back, and when they had the tiebreaker against Los Angeles and all, it was just like one of those things where, the Rams, Niners, Seahawks. It was destiny that we'd face them in the playoffs. But for that one seed, Week 18, that was really what a game! What a game to hold the Niners to 3 points, just make them look silly on offense. Which I might be mistaken. Weren't they scoring 40 points a game for like the last 4 weeks or something coming into that game?
Yeah.
I feel like
They
their
scored
offense
the
was
week
rolling.
before. They scored like 44 or something. They
Yeah,
were just
if
like
they'd
on
had
fire.
Kittle, it'd have been entirely different.
I do feel like so many of those posts are like, yeah, well, we were banged up, so that's why you guys won. It's like, well, I mean, 3 point. You had Purdy, McCaffrey. I get that Trent Williams might not be there.
Trent played.
Trent played in that one.
Yeah, Warner didn't play in either, but
Yeah,
um,
I knew there was
that
a
was
trade-off.
Trent's first game back.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's for me. I'm
Yeah.
like they're banged up for sure. Shanahan's an amazing coach, and it's hard to coach against him. But I mean, that's why Mike Macdonald was hired to be the Shanahan McVay killer, and he showed it in that game. Just absolute domination on defense. I do wish we had scored more points. Those missed field goals were painful because, I mean, two scores is what we won by, 2 possessions, but that can happen quick. And I don't like letting teams hang around. But yeah, 3 points. That I felt really good about that. All right, I'm gonna send a text to my Vikings fan friend here and see if he pops on, because we'll move to a Sam Darnold conversation before ending with a little bit of a Super Bowl preview and what we think.
When you look at the schedule, I have it up on my screen, and you look at how it went at the end, and you go Rams, Panthers, 49ers, Rams.
Yeah. Yeah.
For the last games, well, Panthers were a playoff team, albeit not a great one, but they still were. But then you played 5 of your last 6 games against those interdivisional opponents, 4 of your last 5 games against those interdivisional opponents.
That's
2 of them in
tough.
the playoffs. I mean, that's just like and they were talking about that on Rich Eisen's show today. I was driving, or was in my car warming it up. I actually wasn't driving. Listening to Rich Eisen, and he's saying you look at the body of work between the 2 teams as far as who the Seahawks have had to beat and who the Patriots have had to beat this year. I mean, it's an unbelievable difference in the quality of the teams that you played. So
Yeah.
he said that for no other reason, it gives the Seahawks a huge advantage.
Yeah, what a gauntlet to go through. I mean, and you look at the teams in the NFC and their records. I mean, NFC West was running the whole thing, and to go through and say, we run it now. It's the Seahawks. You have to come through Seattle in the playoffs, and then in the playoffs, same thing. We've got this Vikings fan I'm about to let in. Here we
Don't
go.
do it.
Oh, you even put on the Viking stuff.
Dude.
Luke.
Come on, let's go.
I had to.
Well, thanks for joining us, Luke.
Let's go.
We did recap the Seahawks Vikings game earlier, and I said I felt bad for you.
It's a great turnaround for us.
So tell me, I mean, from a Seahawks perspective, getting Sam Darnold, I was a little bit nervous. I was hoping we'd get Vikings Sam and not New York or Carolina Sam. But like, when you guys moved on from Sam, I want to hear from your perspective how that felt. Were you excited about JJ? Like, forget what you think right now. How are you feeling?
My understanding was that we didn't move on from him. He chose the Seahawks. I thought we offered him a pretty similar contract, and that's what I'm going to believe forever. It was his choice. But the way that our season ended last year with him blowing 2 games in a row, or our team blowing it, whether he did that or not, I was bummed because we were going with a rookie quarterback who the Vikings don't draft quarterbacks well. So I didn't want to see him go, but he did. So it doesn't really matter anymore for us.
Well, I mean, to win 14 games though, even blowing those last 2 games, did you want him back? Like, if he had chosen the Vikings, was that something you wanted?
Oh,
were you
yeah.
ready to move on?
Oh, I would have been happy to keep him. 14 games, that doesn't happen
Yeah.
very often.
Yeah.
So keep him around. He did a great job during the season. And now he has more playoff wins than we have in the last decade. So
So I do want to, like, I heard a lot from Vikings fans at the beginning of this season, kind of all over the place. Some people were like, I can't believe Sammy is gone. And some people were like, good luck with him. I'm very curious, like, where do the Vikings go from here? Like, are you rooting for Sam Darnold? You know,
in the Super Bowl?
yeah.
Yeah, of course. He's an underdog story. He's drafted by the Jets. He actually is going somewhere. He was drafted the same year as Josh Allen,
Baker
Mayfield,
Lamar.
and Lamar Jackson, and none of them have been in the Super Bowl.
Wow.
So of all those quarterbacks, who would you have expected to be in the Super Bowl by now?
Lamar.
Not Sam Darnold.
Yeah. I mean, they had written him off, but he didn't write
Yeah.
back though. But yeah, I think that's one of those things that.
Okay, Gino.
Yeah, shout out to Gino.
Shout out to Gino.
I feel like for me, whenever I get a text from a Vikings fan, I feel bad because it's kind of like realizing what you had and now you no longer get to. I don't know. It's like the girl that got away, the QB that got away. I feel like.
Well, as a Vikings fan, we're all too familiar with players that have gone away, and that's fine.
You think Justin Jefferson's talking to management or whatever about letting him go?
I hope not. But I don't know. I'm just a fan. It doesn't matter what happens. I'm still going to be rooting for him.
Yeah, that's fair.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry for your losses in
Hey.
multiple ways.
And congratulations to all the Seattle fans. What a great year for Seattle sports. The Mariners to the championship, right? The Seahawks to the Super Bowl, and the Thunder win the NBA.
Stop.
That's
You're
incredible.
the worst. You're the worst. That's the absolute worst. He texted me that joke earlier, and I was like, I laughed. I'm not gonna lie, I laughed, and the Thunder being thrown out there,
Yeah,
just
we call them Sonics East.
Yeah, great
yeah,
job.
unreal. Well, Luke, thank you for joining us. I know you were waiting around, and I sent you the wrong link to come hang out. Kendall's excited you're here. She was like,
Here I am.
gaming headset and everything, legendary.
Just got off playing with the bros.
Yeah.
So here I am, fresh.
Do you play Madden at all?
No,
Okay.
no.
Well,
Hockey, Stardew
are
Valley.
you the Kraken? Kraken is your team whenever you play hockey.
Yep, for sure.
Got to go with Matty Beniers, right? Minnesota doesn't have a team, do they?
No, we had the North Stars and they left.
I'm
We
just
got a cup with them.
I'm just kidding. I didn't
St.
bring
Paul,
you on
St.
here.
Paul has a team, not Minneapolis.
Yeah, that's right.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well,
I would have been wearing my Wild stuff, but talking about Sammy.
yeah. Oh, did you buy a Sammy jersey? Do you have one?
I have a Chris Carter jersey. That's it.
Nice, classic.
Yeah. Mhm.
I have a number 14 Seattle jersey that I kind of want to change the nameplate from Metcalf to Darnold. But,
Go for it.
You know, we'll see.
Team store will
Yeah.
do that for you.
Yeah, who will?
The team store.
I'll have to send it.
Absolutely.
I'll have to send it
Yeah.
because Metcalf, after his shenanigans this year, you know, not feeling it. Not feeling owning a Metcalf jersey. But conveniently, Sammy D, the oblique king, is also number 14. Conveniently,
What a
for me.
stud. Yeah. Well, I'm rooting for the Seahawks in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Can you say "Go Hawks" for me?
Go Hawks.
Amazing. I'm going to clip that. I'm going to clip that, Luke. And
All right, great.
Sneeze.
he's
Yeah.
already
See
sent
it.
me video of his kids saying "Go Hawks," so I know
Really?
hmm
I
Yeah.
know it's in the family now.
It wasn't when they were playing the Vikings. That was
Joel,
we didn't watch that game.
Joel Prince said you're grounded.
Oh,
Were-
yeah.
Were you just
And
playing?
that's a game. That's another game we play. Yeah.
You play grounded with Joel.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, I didn't
think
bring
that's
you on
probably
here
what
to
it means.
razz you the whole time. I genuinely, me and Luke talk about sports every time we see each other, and we keep an interest in what's going on. I kept up with the Vikings after they moved on from Sammy, and I
What a-
can't say I was rooting for JJ McCarthy, but
I was pretty excited about JJ McCarthy. Yeah.
well,
we
the
were
Michigan thing-
one special teams play away from winning the North. If we all break it down to that, and we let the Bears get way too far up, they win the game, and we end up losing. I think that was the last game we lost because we won out 5 games the rest of the season. So a lot of Vikings fans hate that Sammy moved on, and they can't stand our coach or GM right now. But we'll see.
QB for you guys. Are you rolling with McCarthy moving forward, or are you hoping Sammy gets let go and comes back next year?
We're
what's
gonna
the-
get Kirky Chains coming back. Let's go.
Wow. All right. Well, now I can add something to my prayer list. maybe there's a miracle for you
Yeah.
coming to
Is
Minnesota.
anybody but Aaron Rodgers?
Wow. Okay.
Please
Amazing.
don't.
You got that Brett Favre complex with ex Green Bay Packer coming to Vikings.
Yeah. I want to keep on developing JJ McCarthy.
Yeah.
He's 22. There's a 23-year-old quarterback in the Super Bowl this year. Not saying we could make it next year, but if we stick with him, that's something that the Vikings haven't had. Kirk Cousins owns most of our quarterback records because he actually stuck around for quite a few years. So,
That's fair. Yeah.
Hmm.
Wonder what Culpepper is doing these days. Call him up. Get him to train
Yeah.
JJ.
Yeah, sounds good.
JJ needs to work on his health a little bit first.
Yeah.
He's just been, the best ability is availability. So, he hasn't been available much. So, yeah, that's, hopefully he doesn't have that streak in him. Hopefully it's just been some fluke things. But I hope he doesn't keep doing that every year. That'll be really hard for the team if that's the case.
Yeah, that's been his history so far.
Yeah, that's.
But he never got hurt at Michigan. I don't think he ever got hurt at Michigan. He played
Yeah.
every game.
Well, NFL history.
Yeah,
He's-
yeah.
He's great at handing off the ball in Michigan, and I'm just kidding.
Yeah, to Blake Corum.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's right.
Which, as a Huskies fan,
Who's okay.
that's why I was rooting against JJ McCarthy, because that national championship game, I was really, really disappointed. The Huskies just got demolished. It was not fun, but especially since I had some friends that were huge Michigan fans that were texting me before the game, like, "There's no chance." I was like, "There is a chance, I promise." But alas,
There wasn't.
well,
It wasn't.
Luke, thanks for hanging out with us. You can get back to playing your NHL 2K with the Kraken.
All right. Good luck, everybody.
Thanks. We'll be back
Thanks.
on. We'll have you back on. This is the first show
All
I've
right.
ever done, and you're a part of it.
All right.
So,
Sick. Appreciate it.
all right. Thanks for having us.
Yep. See you guys.
All right, Luke.
So, what do you guys think, Sam Darnold wise? I mean, from a Vikings fan that wishes he could stay there, is he the quarterback of the future for us? Is he a loner? Where's Sam Darnold sit with us?
Is that true though that he elected to leave rather than?
That's Luke. Luke is. I mean, there's a little bit of that where it's like who's out there, what offers are on the table. I don't know what the Vikings actually offered him, but it was obviously not a franchise. We're rolling with you, and which I also understand, because 1 year, 14 wins. It's not a. He doesn't have a resume you can look at and say, this is the guy we're going to invest $50 million a year in after 1 year. Now, after 2 years in a row and kind of showing he can exercise those demons, maybe. But, yeah, I don't know if that narrative, obviously, Luke, is still hurting.
Well, he's got a good offensive line now compared to last year. I mean, Gray's able by himself just takes care of the whole left side. It's just amazing what we've got right now in him. But I think that with the time, you can see to Shaheed and JSN, he's got the long ball, he's got those short passes, got great receivers out of the backfield, great tight ends. We've got, we picked up Cooper. I just think that right now he's got all the targets, and he's not afraid to throw it anywhere. And unfortunately, in a couple of games, he was too unafraid, picked the wrong person, wrong time. But I don't think there's any problem at all with Sam Darnold. I think he's got the arm, he's got the experience, and I think that's why we're here.
Yeah, I don't think we're here without him.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not many people that could have filled those shoes. I don't think this year. I don't think Gino would have got us this far.
No.
You talk about interceptions,
Yeah.
but I think with Sam, he's young enough where I think you could have him around a decent chunk of time. Once again, though, I think this is like you go year by year, and you may not do a 7-year deal for $40 million a year after his deal's up in 3 years, or I guess almost 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
See how this goes this week, and if we lose Clint Kubiak to somebody to coach, does he have as good a year next year? Just like I said, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves with Sam. But for now, yes, I think the Vikings were stupid to let him go. But what situation would you rather be in? Even if the money was exactly the same, would you rather be JJ, JJ McCarthy's, seat warmer, or would you rather be the number one quarterback of a team that has a great new coach and has, one of the best receivers in football, and you knew that before you made that decision? I'm going to Seattle. I'm not going to sit here and be JJ's backup. And if JJ doesn't play, I get to play. But other than that, I think it was an easy decision for him. I don't think there was, assuming that there was the same offer, which I don't think it was. I bet it wasn't the same offer.
Mm-hmm.
But what would you do? I mean, that's, you're going to Seattle.
Yeah.
It's a good organization. It's a well-run organization. And, he made the right call. he made the right call. And they knew and they went after him too. I think they wanted to they made him feel loved. I think that's another thing he was their first choice for free agent quarterbacks. I think he knew that.
Yeah, we pulled the trigger on him pretty quick. I was excited.
Yeah, it was fast. It was so fast.
So I remember making making fun of him a few years ago, and just kind of like being silly and like Sammy seeing ghosts out there. But I remember seeing his name, like Seahawks have chosen Sam Darnold, and I was actually like, after last year, I can see how this is an upgrade from Geno. Maybe not at the time thinking it was a drastic upgrade, but he's younger. He's just came off of a 14-win season. He's got a lot of confidence in being able to run an offense. I felt really good about Sam coming in, and I feel great about Sam right now. And I feel like if he's able to do what he's done in the last 5 weeks, 6 weeks of keeping the ball safe, not making mistakes, even winning the game with 150, 160 yards passing and not having to air the ball out, and then having to keep up with Matt Stafford and the Rams and, have a slugfest. He can do it in multiple ways. So I'm very excited about Sam. And it's such a team-friendly deal, not offering him a crazy contract, a very incentive-laden contract. And,
well, if he wins the Super Bowl, he makes $4 million.
Unreal. Yeah.
That's a nice I looked at him as a transition until we could get Jalen Milroe up to speed. I was thinking that he was just a good mentor, and that he'd bring us to a winning season, and he was just going to be that mentor that'll prevent us from having a losing season. But I didn't expect what we got out of him. It's been great.
Yeah. I was excited about the Jalen Milroe draft pick too. I was not expecting a QB, especially Jalen Milroe, that late in the draft. Like, it was a fun pick to come across the screen, and I feel like John Schneider has been absolutely, like, you look at the last 2 years worth of draft picks, 3 years worth of draft picks, and all those guys are contributing in big ways right now. And Gray Zabel. I mean, I honestly, looking pre-Macdonald era, seeing how we drafted with Pete, and it was kind of like, we'll trade out of the first round. We never get guards. We never get QBs. And in one draft, he drafted first round a guard, and then was it third round, fourth round for Milroe. And it was just like QB and a guard in one draft. This never happens. And I feel like the cap on Schneider with the Pete Carroll era has come off. It's John Schneider's team to run. He's bringing in whoever he sees fit without having that extra voice in the room, as I guess Pete was able to make those kind of calls side by side with him. And I love seeing what John Schneider's doing with the team. I feel like he's doing really well. And especially Luke even commented he said, we could have franchise tagged him, but our cap is out of control. No one wanted to trade for him after a tag, and he made way less money with you this year. This was a prove it contract, and he proved it. And I mean, that's realistically what John Schneider has done, is taken these guys where DeMarcus Lawrence, same kind of thing. He was paid a lot of money for an aging quarterback or aging defensive end, where people are like, really, you're going to pay, but it wasn't a huge amount of money in the long term. You look at what kind of cap space we still have and what kind of player DeMarcus is, and it's like, we got a deal there, got to deal with Sam, all these guys on their rookie contracts still. This is a very well managed football team from John Schneider right now, which is why he won Executive of the Year. So
Nobody's talking about Drew Lock.
yeah.
I think we keep him around just to remind us of Russ Wilson and the fact that we got rid of him just at the right time too.
Well, I saw a tweet that was saying, what an awesome year to disprove this young quarterback who's been moved around the league several spots, and he finally gets to go to a Super Bowl. Congratulations, Drew Lock, on being able to. I was like, it is a funny, he's been to a couple spots there and found his spot in Seattle, and now let's go win this thing. But yeah, Drew Lock is such a funny name to come up with when you're thinking of, how do we get Drew Lock? Oh yeah, that was in that blockbuster trade where you look at one side of that and it's like Russell Wilson and one other item, and then 7 draft picks and 3 players and just insane amount of stuff.
Crazy.
Well, let's talk Super Bowl real quick before we dive in, or before we end the night. Man, talking about the Seahawks, I could do this all the time, but it'd be fun to actually have some more segments and stuff in the future where we can talk through some specific topics, maybe cover a game or something like the Super Bowl when we go through that. But what do you guys think? Super Bowl, would love to hear your predictions. Each of you, what do you think the final score is going to be, who the MVP is, and yeah.
I don't have all my analytics yet. I don't know if I can make that prediction.
I like it. Shoot from the hip.
Yeah. I got to think about that. Let KC go first.
KC.
Let's go. Well, I think we definitely win. I think that I haven't even watched. Have you guys watched a New England game this year? I haven't even really watched them. And even though they were what, number 2 seed? They had what, 12, 13 wins?
14.
Oh, they had 14. Yeah, like us, huh? Right. They're just not. I mean, they're not exciting to me. Kind of like Denver. And for me, I think we just got through the toughest team in the NFL, and we beat them twice, 2 times in a row, and with the Rams. And so it's like, we've already climbed that mountain, and it's downhill from here to me as far as playing the Patriots. So I'm not scared of them. I'm not worried about it. I'm not going to be stressed out. I think we win, and we win big. I'm not sure what the score is going to be, but I wouldn't be surprised if we hold them to maybe 10, 13 points, with our defense. They just don't impress me. Who do they have? What, Diggs? That's it as a receiver? Who's their running back? What other
Stevenson's the running back. He's pretty good.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a decent. He's a pretty good ball carrier, and he's a decent receiver out of the backfield.
Yeah.
I've had to watch them, unfortunately, because my sister and her whole family are all Patriots fans because they all live near Boston.
Oh.
And so yeah, we were talking smack a lot over the weekend and after the game. But I've watched them some, and I love Mike Vrabel, just from his time here. So they'll be ready to play, I think.
Yeah.
So you think Casey, it's a big win?
Yeah, I think going against Denver, I think everybody assumed that was going to be a close game, and maybe even, a high scoring game against Peyton Manning when we beat them in New York. But it was the opposite. We came in and just smoked them. And for me, I just think we're going to do the same thing to Denver. but I just kind of foresee that, ahead of the game, where with Denver, you would have never saw that coming. But I think me personally, Vrabel's a great coach. That's another thing, Tennessee, like Minnesota letting Sam Darnold go. It's like, what were the Titans thinking?
That's
Like,
gotta
yeah,
hurt.
that's gotta hurt, man. And so, I think we win big. So
Final
I'm
score.
excited,
What do you think final score is? I need clippable stuff here.
man. I'm gonna say 27-13 Seahawks.
Let's go. Love that.
31-10 Seahawks.
31-10. Wow. An even further margin. I was not expecting that.
Drake May is still surprising himself. He's got a rocket arm. He's really on target, but with the pressure the Seahawks will put on him and the coverage we've got, he's going to have to throw a bunch of balls away. He's going to get rattled. I just expect a kind of a down day for him. So I'll give him 1 touchdown and a field goal. So that's the 10.
I would have liked to see a better game on Sunday between them and the Broncos. Just, maybe without the weather coming in, where you could really get a better estimation of what Drake May is like against a really good defense. Like Denver has a good defense, but at the end it was really a joke. I mean, you couldn't see anything, and so I'm going to go a little more cautious on my pick, and I see them scoring. Let's see, what's the 2 touchdowns? I say 19 for the Patriots, a weird number, and I think I'm going to go 27 for the Hawks. No, wait, I need 2 field goals. I need 2 field goals for the Hawks. So let's see. So we'll go 2 field goals, 2 touchdowns, 14, 20. That's not going to be that close. 20. I'm going to go 27-19.
Love that. I love that
27-19 Hawks.
We're all thinking Hawks. For me, regardless of whether it was the Seahawks, the Rams, the Niners, the Bears, I felt like the NFC was going to win the Super Bowl this year. And I'm very happy that the Seahawks are that representative. And I'm kind of in line with you guys. I think it's more than a touchdown that we're going to win by. It's hard to ever say it's going to be a blowout just because, I mean, it's the NFL. Any given Sunday, you look at the Titans, we should have blown them out. But so I'm going to go 31-24, Seahawks winning by a touchdown. But the only reason they have 24 is because of a late garbage time chuck down the field, and it's, not going to matter. They're not going to get the onside kick to further pursue. So
yeah, if I had to put money on it, I wouldn't be going 31-10, but it's easy to say.
Yeah, I like it. It makes for a nice
stay with it.
Yeah, and if we do win by a wide margin, you're like, the price is right with the $1.
And I just looked this up. Unless the Patriots are play mind games with us, we'll be wearing our away uniforms in the Super Bowl. The Patriots get to pick whatever color they want. So they really do mind games with us. They go back to the color scheme from Super Bowl 50.
Yeah, I would love that. I would love it just to get over that, like, see us in the same uniforms, but win it. For my brain, whatever I can do to erase that, I can.
They won't do that though. They'll probably be in their blues. So we'll be probably white jerseys, blue pants. I would guess we probably won't whip out the wolf gray or anything.
Wouldn't that be awesome if, like, it comes down to the same scenario as the first Super Bowl with the Patriots, and we end up running the ball this time and win the game? Like,
wow, there's no way we don't. There's no way we
game for a touchdown.
If we got to that scenario and threw the ball, like, that's it. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I don't see Holani being that guy, and actually, with Zach out right now,
The tush
We
quarterback.
don't, we don't have that bruiser just to hit the line and get 3 yards no matter what. So yeah, I don't feel good right now about to win the game on a run.
The 1 yard.
Like they did against the Rams with Barner,
Yeah.
getting the.
Yeah,
Well,
K9
it wasn't
was on
Barner.
fire.
It wasn't. It was Saubert that caught the
Yeah.
2-point conversion. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, they did throw that there. So don't be surprised if they throw it. But
Yeah.
I don't want to be close.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be that close. Yeah,
Exactly.
for sure.
Love that.
But it could be.
Well,
It's going to be good, and I think the NFL got what they want. I hope.
Yeah.
I think the NFL got. The Seahawks have way more fans than the Rams. I think a friend of mine runs an apparel company, a licensed apparel company, and although her sister actually works for the Rams, she's in the business affairs office in LA. She wanted the Seahawks to win because they'll sell more merch.
Yeah.
if the Rams won that game. And you see that stat about Darnold? He's the first USC quarterback to play in a Super Bowl.
I did not see that. Wow.
Yeah.
That's surprising.
Yep. Yeah, can you believe that?
Interesting.
Yeah, Leinart never made it.
Yeah.
And even who were some of the old ones? Pat Hayden. Any of those guys? They never made it.
What was that
So
guy?
he's the first one.
Pete.
They did a pretty cool post. Go look up USC football. They did this cool post.
Carson Palmer never made it to Super Bowl.
Nope.
Wow.
Wow.
Nope.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or I'm pretty sure it said start. I don't know if it said made it or start a Super Bowl. I'm not sure. It could be. There might have been one on the bench, but they do this post that showed him half as a USC in the same exact position. He was half of his body is in a USC uniform, a USC helmet, and the other half is Seahawks, which looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
They tweeted that out today.
Well,
Or
there you
X'd
go.
it out.
Hopefully.
X'd it out.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever it's called these days.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to see a USC quarterback go back to the Super Bowl next year again with a Seahawks jersey on. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Broke the streak, and we'll see what happens a couple weeks from now. I appreciate you guys joining in and just talking Seahawks on a whim. Like, I know today I brought it up, but we should do a post Super Bowl thing. I don't know if the night of that might be too crazy, but that week for sure.
Too
we
late
should do
too. It'd be too late.
Yeah, I'm
Well, not for KC, but
true, Casey. We can hop on in the wee hours here. You'll just be getting going after the juices of winning a Super Bowl. So
Let's go.
love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. We'll hop on after the Super Bowl and talk some more Hawks. But appreciate you hanging, and we'll be talking in text. But to everyone who tuned in and who will tune in, thanks for hanging.
let's do a group chat. Can you set up a group text for us?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just so we're all four there and we can go at it.
Love it. Yep.
Hey Barry, do you live here? Where do you live?
Spring Hill.
Oh, you're close to him.
Just down the road.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
walking distance.
Like 11-minute walk.
Yeah.
Wow, how about that? Cool. So you're on our time. All right, that's good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I'll set up a text and we'll go from there. Go Hawks. We'll hopefully be talking when the Super Bowl is in our hands.
Absolutely.
All right.
It's Lombardi Trophy, baby. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for having us, Jess. Appreciate it.
Yeah, this was fun.
Absolutely. Anytime I get to
This was
talk
fun.
Hawks with friends, it's a good time. So we'll talk to you guys
Absolutely.
later. Go Hawks. See you
Go
later.
Hawks.
Peace. Yep.